to Status Update, only on Slaghuis TV. So today we're here back to the city. We decided to change the setup a bit. My name is Unati, aka TimeZone, and of course my partner in crime is here, the hip-hop critic. His name is Thap. So today we have a legendary dude here outside. His name is Omen. He's a brilliant rapper. He's also a producer. Today what we're looking at, in a nutshell, is the unnecessary idea that there needs to exist this whole notion of underground and commercial, the mainstream. There needs to be a divide basically between the two, of underground as well as mainstream. Yo, Omen, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
So am I going to be the mic guy holding, or should I pass it? I mean, you're from that
yeah,
era,
man.
man. You're from that era.
Hand it over, hand it over.
You're from that era. Thap, what's up? Thap, what's up? What up, dog? Yeah, pass me the mic. You need to be loud.
Pass me the mic. What up? Are you good, dog?
I'm good, man.
Chilling, son.
Because you guys don't know each other.
No, I know this man.
How, sir?
I know this nigga, dog.
Wait.
Yo, don't matter, dog. Yo, back in them ciphers, nigga. What you talking about? You heard the question proposed to you.
Yeah.
Alright, so what's your response to the necessary divide that needs to exist between underground and mainstream?
First of all, the industry is still too small, bro. Yeah, there was a divide then, but I don't think it's. Yeah, there needs to be development in terms of a platform where the young rappers can actually do their thing and then rise to whatever status or whatever level they want to rise to. But it's just a small country for us to even have that kind of a thing. I just think we just need to have a very healthy culture, a very healthy industry where people are able to access, the economy, the game, the industry, and be part of it. Outside of the typical, the politics and everything. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I still think it just needs to grow bigger.
I get you now. With you just breaking that down, right? With hip-hop, there's always these divisions. There's the underground, there's mainstream, you've made it. So now my question to you, having experienced everything, do you think that being underground, is it a movement, is it a sound, or is it just completely being unknown? Having experienced that, you were from the days of Lee Clap. I mean, you saw that to it booming now. So do you think being underground, is it a movement, is it a sound, or is it just being completely unknown? How would you define it?
Look, my man, it doesn't matter what you call it. The main thing is progression. If there's no progression, whether you're underground or whether you're mainstream, then it's pointless, if you know what I mean. If that's what I'm saying. Underground for us, what it meant was I'm sharpening my skills, I'm developing myself to become a fully fledged musician or a fully fledged artist who has a career. If you're doing music, then obviously if you're doing it for fun, that's still cool. But if you're trying to do this as a career, you need to develop yourself and you need to find yourself in a space where you are able to access all the elements that will allow you to have this career, So if you don't have that, if we don't have that bridging gap between me as a Omen, as a producer, now I'm there, I'm doing my thing, I've got the resources, I've got the networks. Now I see a guy like Tabs, I'm like, yo man, let me put you on. And then I go to the underground, I'm like, oh, that's where it's at. This is the next dude. If that's not happening, then we pretty much have no industry. Then it will still be a very gray area, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we are now. It's like Lee Club was so unique in the sense that a lot of the industry, in fact, a huge chunk of what made the industry has come from there, which gives back to my point. People like Lance used to come to Lee Club. People like Abu Tabi, so a lot of the legendary icons, people that behind the scenes I'm talking, people that made it happen, from journalists, you name it, POC, all those guys. That's where it started, Squatter Camp. Everybody started there, Pro Kid, myself, Amu, you know what I'm saying? So, but there was that transition from that to taking it there to the rest of the world. I mean, we started that, we brought it to the masses, because of people like Abosi Postole, for instance, at Gallo, that believed. So they are in the offices and they come down to this thing, whatever you call it, underground or, and they see the talent and they develop it. They put the funds into it, they put the money, the resources, and they develop it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I think we need that. It's like you need a balance. You know what I'm saying?
Because we are back to the city, so I want to understand from you your perspective on the transition with Back to the City. Do you feel like it's still a platform that that is for underground artists to grow, or has it been commercialized, in your opinion?
My man, I remember I come to this festival. Well, you know, there's times where you don't come, but the last 3 years or 3-4 years, I've been here and I've seen it evolve, bruh.
Okay.
It has evolved. Like, there was a time when it was just backpackers right here, behind me on my left. It was just backpackers. If freaking KO had to come on, people were booing and stuff. Lymphatic Tabs comes on. You know what I'm saying? Lymphatic Tabs comes on, he's the god, you know?
Yeah.
But it has evolved. Now, Lymphatic still, but the beauty of Back to the City now is that everyone gets the love. It's not just about the underground raps, like, yo, this is our platform, and then you commercial cats have sell out or whatever. It's not. It is integrated, and it's one movement, which I think is should be, you know, as opposed to just saying, we're just about the underground. No, it's about everybody, you know. So from the underground all the way up. And why call it underground? Call it, I don't know, man. Like, for me, I just feel like,
Call it hip hop.
yeah, man, like, let it just be about progression. Let it be positive, you know. So even if you are a guy coming up at the bottom, but you still have a platform like this, guys can come and perform in a big stage like this, and he's hardly does, you know, he's not commercial. He doesn't have any major music out or anything, but he's got that buzz, he's got the skills, and hence he's here. And Osmic, big up to him for keeping this whole thing going, you know.
So you touched on the fact that, you know, just let's not label it per se. Let's not say underground. And then you mentioned on the progression that you have seen people like Lymphatic Tabs now being shown love or being introduced to the new kids, you know. But now there's still that demarcation in the hip hop industry where people that are from the underground, now they're starting to get the limelight, they are considered sellouts. Why is it that being commercial is you considered a sellout? Why do you think that's the case for some cats out there?
Hey man, I used to hate that. Like, we got the same thing as well. Like, yeah, Omen. I mean, I was with Omen, and it was Omen and Robocho. Like, we got the tapes out and all of that. We're considered underground then, the stars of the underground, whatever. And then when I made that transition with Pro, they're like, you're a sellout, whatever. It's like, that's my point, you know. Like, as soon as people perceive some form of commercial success, then you're labeled a sellout, which for me is a bit stupid in a sense. It's annoying, actually. Like, what is the point? Why are you doing this, in number one? What are you trying to do? That's why I said earlier, like, if you are in it for just the love, the fun, then let it be known, do that. But don't be calling people sellouts when people are trying to get a career. We need a career. Like, if you're going to be a graffiti artist, there's graffiti artists who have careers, who actually do commercial projects. What do you call those? It's still part of the art form, but Nike has just commissioned your work, your art piece. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same with hip hop. If Ciroc is giving me an endorsement and Sony just signed me, but I was a young kid on a block, why you gotta call me a sellout? I'm me advancing my career and doing it, and the people are responding. You must know that at the end of the day, people are not scientists. They're not gonna try and figure out something that's complex. Make it simple. That's a simple rule about anything in life. Keep it simple, you know? People are trying to complicate matters. You're trying to just do you, and unfortunately, that's always the hardest part, especially when it comes to personal things like art form and being an artist. Is like, you know, it's hard to, you're always trying to emulate something that you've loved, that you followed. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough thing to just become your own man. And once you do that, then you see it. Then the success as well is even huge. It's bigger. Look at guys like AKA for me, or, you know, those are people who, you know, you're part of the art, and then you became your own man. And then once you do that, once you do your own thing about Cool Cat, all these guys, then you see the response, like the people. I mean, what do you call a Cool Cat? What do you call that? You know what I'm saying? So it's still, he's still true to his, I mean, the sound. It's his sound. Like, what is that? That's, for me, it will be considered underground because it's not your typical mainstream sound, but it's doing well. Look at Shoma Josie, for instance. Like, you know, those are people who are just doing that off the shelf kind of stuff, but that's still commercially it's working still. So what do you call that as well? You know what I'm saying? So even if you're underground, if it works, there's a lot of stuff, you know. Even, I mean, look at J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? Perfect example. He just dropped an album that's done bigger numbers than all your mumble rappers could ever even, you know what I'm saying? It's done bigger numbers. So that's what it is, man.
Because we've covered underground and commercial. So if you're a commercial artist that pops up, is there a need for you to have the street cred to get from the bottom up? Like, is there a hip hop hierarchy that you need to go through? Are there channels that you need to go through that give you street cred, as in you haven't been underground, so you can't just automatically just be commercial and we give you respect? Like, where does the respect come from? You know what I mean? Are those artists given respect that are just commercial, that you've never seen in your struggles as a maybe underground artist?
Hey man, the streets have moved to Twitter.
Twitter fingers.
You know what I'm saying? That's where it's moved to. Social media has become the streets now. We did it organically. We're with the people. Now I'm buzzing on the internet. And that's not a bad thing. It's evolving. You know what I'm saying? Now, then a cat like me would be like, oh, but I was part of, I was in the streets. Now you guys are doing it wrong. You should be in this. No, everything changes. Like, same as your dad would say, hey, you guys, man, this music of yours, I don't understand it. You should be listening to this. It's the same thing. Times move and you adapt. If you want to be part of the movement, you adapt or you die. So that's what, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So I, as Omen, I either adapt and embrace what's happening, or I just stay away. So for me, street cred, it all depends on your point of view, on your context. Some people on Twitter, if you got 1 million followers, that's cred for you. You know what I'm saying? Whether you've got 1 million followers, it's all moved to Twitter. Look at, Casper Nyovest, perfect example.